Ever felt like your voice has just kind of hit a wall? You're reaching for those higher notes, maybe getting close,
Uh-huh.
but it feels like you're wrestling with your own vocal cords. Or maybe you've just been stuck in the same vocal territory for ages. It's a frustration a lot of singers feel.
Absolutely. That feeling, that desire to explore everything your voice can do, it's fundamental, isn't it?
Mm.
It's really about unlocking more freedom, more expression.
Being able to connect with the music you actually want to sing.
Exactly.
And that's precisely what we're diving into today, how to safely expand your vocal range. Our focus for this deep dive is specifically on the ways you can extend that comfortable singing range, but without, straining or risking injury.
Right. And we've looked at a whole range of stuff for this practical advice from coaches like Ken Tamplin and Chris Leap,
Yeah, some really hands-on techniques there.
and also some more, let's say, academic views on vocal technique, always keeping vocal health, and importantly, ear training in the picture.
Because they all tie together. So our mission here is really to boil all that down into clear, actionable insights you can actually use.
Yeah, we want to give you a practical roadmap, basically, how to expand your range safely and effectively, cut through some of the noise online, and just, get you started.
Okay, let's get into it. When we think about stretching our vocal limits, where do you even begin? It feels a bit daunting, like climbing a mountain without knowing the path.
Well, the journey really has to start with understanding your own voice, right where it is now. And it's not just about the absolute highest or lowest note you can possibly squeak out.
Right, not the party trick notes.
Exactly. It's about the span of pitches you can produce comfortably, consistently, with a healthy sound. That's where this idea of your safe vocal range comes in, sometimes called SPN, Safe Vocal Range Notation.
SPN. Okay, so knowing your vocal home base.
Pretty much. It's about mapping out where you can sing reliably before you start pushing those boundaries.
Got it. Now, I've also heard the term tessitura thrown around. How's that different from just like my overall range?
Ah, good question. That's a really key distinction. So your range is all the notes you could technically make. Your tessitura, though, that's the part of your range where your voice feels best.
Feels best. How so?
Like where it resonates most freely, feels the most comfortable, easiest to control for singing longer phrases. It's your vocal sweet spot.
Okay, the sweet spot. That makes sense.
And honestly, understanding your tessitura is often more useful day to day than just knowing your absolute highest note, especially when you're picking songs. It helps avoid burnout.
Right. I mean, I can hit certain high notes, but sustaining them through a whole song? Nah. And they don't always sound great either, so focusing on where my voice naturally sits is better for choosing repertoire.
Precisely. And speaking of notes that don't always sound great, be a little wary of those online vocal range testers.
Oh, yeah. Why's that?
Well, they might give you a rough number for your highest and lowest points, maybe,
Yeah.
but they tell you absolutely nothing about the quality of those notes.
Or if you felt like you're going to pop a blood vessel getting there.
Exactly. Or if it's sustainable or comfortable. A strained squeak or a rough growl might register on an app, but that doesn't mean it's a usable part of your singing voice.
So don't put too much stock in the digital readout. Tune into how it actually feels and sounds.
That's the key. Your own sensation is a much better guide.
Now, our sources also mention the common voice types: bass, tenor, alto, soprano. How do those fit in? Are they still useful?
They are useful as general categories. They give you a broad idea based on typical ranges, but your individual voice, it's way more complex than just one
Oh,
label.
nuanced.
Yeah. It's a unique mix of your range, yes, but also that tessitura we talked about, the specific timbre or color of your voice, its weight, does it sound light or heavy, and even how you transition between registers, those passagios.
Ah, the passagios, the breaks.
So classification's like a starting point for comparison, maybe, but it definitely doesn't define everything about your unique instrument.
Okay, so step one is really getting to know our own voice intimately, as it is right now. What's next if we want to actually start expanding that range safely?
Right, the foundation. This is absolutely essential for any good singing, but especially for range expansion. It comes down to three things that are all connected: posture, breath, and relaxation.
The big three. Let's start with posture.
Think of your posture as the actual frame that holds everything up. Whether you're standing or sitting, good alignment is key.
What does that look like practically?
Well, standing, feet grounded, maybe shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, not locked, pelvis neutral, spine long. Imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head.
Yeah.
Chest open but shoulders relaxed, not pulled back tight. Head balanced, not jutting forward.
I can feel myself sitting up straighter just hearing that. It does feel like it opens things up.
It really does. It creates the best setup for efficient breathing and hitting pitches accurately. And that leads us right into breath, specifically diaphragmatic breathing.
The belly breathing people talk about.
Exactly. Instead of lifting your chest and shoulders when you inhale that shallow breathing, you want to feel the expansion lower down. Your diaphragm, that big muscle under your ribs, moves down. And you should feel your belly, your sides, even your lower back expand outwards, like filling a balloon from the bottom.
So letting the stomach expand out, not sucking it in.
Precisely. That's the key. This deep breath gives you the power, the fuel for your voice. It's the foundation for breath support and managing your air for everything from soft singing to belting out high notes.
Okay, posture providing the frame, deep breathing providing the power. Now, relaxation, that seems almost counterintuitive when you're trying to, push your boundaries.
But it's so, so crucial and often the missing piece. Unnecessary tension, especially in your jaw, your tongue, your neck.
Yeah.
It's like putting the brakes on while you're trying to accelerate.
Good analogy.
It physically blocks free vocal production. It dampens resonance, makes it harder to access high and low notes easily, messes with your pitch, and just makes singing feel like hard work.
Like fighting yourself.
Exactly. We need to actively find and release that tension. Think of it like kinks in a hose. It just restricts the flow of sound.
Okay, so how do we actually release it? Sometimes I don't even notice I'm clenching my jaw until it aches later.
Awareness is definitely step one. Just start noticing. Is your jaw tight? For the jaw, you can try gently massaging the muscles around the joint. Here.
Right near the ear.
Yeah. Or even just pretending to chew in a really loose, relaxed way while humming gently. Let the jaw hang heavy. For the tongue, try to keep it resting forward, gently behind your bottom front teeth, not pulled back or bunched up.
Okay.
And for the neck, good posture helps a lot, but also gentle stretches. The main thing is to become aware of where you hold tension and then consciously work on letting it go.
That makes sense. I definitely feel that tension creep in when I go for higher notes. Feels like I'm trying to muscle it out.
That's such a common pitfall. Forcing, pushing, especially up high, it's almost always a sign that something's off in the foundation. Tension, lack of breath support. Effective range expansion comes from ease and efficiency, finding the right coordination, not brute force. Like one source said, think gently stretching the voice, not straining it.
Gently stretching. I like that. Okay, foundation sorted. Know your voice, posture, breath, release tension. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty, the actual techniques to expand the range.
Right, the exercises.
Yeah.
But first, the golden rule.
Yeah.
Always, always warm up gently before you start reaching for new notes.
Don't just jump into the hard stuff cold.
Never. Simple things like lip trills, just buzzing your lips together while sighing on a pitch.
Brr, like that.
Exactly. Or gentle tongue trills, humming. They get the airflow going and gently engage the vocal folds without strain. And don't overdo the warm-up itself. Just get things ready.
Warm up first. Check. What's next in the toolbox?
Sirens and glides are fantastic. Just sliding your voice smoothly up and down your comfortable range on an ooh or an ee sound.
Like an ambulance? Wee wee.
Sort of, yeah.
But smoothly connecting. They're great for finding that connection between register's chest voice, head voice, and building flexibility. As you get comfortable, you gradually try to slide a little higher and a little lower.
Okay, sirens and glides. What else?
Lip and tongue trills, again, they fall into a category called SOVTEs.
SOV, what now?
SOVTs, semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. Fancy name, simple idea. By partially blocking the airflow, like with a lip trill, or humming with lips closed, you create a bit of back pressure in your vocal tract.
Back pressure. Sounds technical.
It is, but the effect is amazing. That gentle back pressure actually helps your vocal folds vibrate more efficiently with less effort and less tension. It makes it safer to explore your range, kind of cushions the voice.
Wow, okay, so those funny-looking lip trills actually have some serious science behind them.
They really do. Then, of course, you have your scales and arpeggios, the classics.
Good old do-re-mi.
Yep. They're fundamental for building accuracy, agility, coordination, stamina. For range expansion, the key is incremental progress.
Meaning you practice them within your comfortable range first, making sure the technique is solid. Then, slowly, gently, you add maybe 1/2 step higher or 1/2 step lower as you gain confidence and control. Don't jump straight to the extremes.
Gradual steps. That seems to be the recurring theme here.
Absolutely. Patience is key. Another really crucial technique is vowel modification.
Changing the vowel sounds. Why?
Well, you'll probably notice that as you sing higher, Trying to keep the exact same vowel shape you use in your lower range can start to feel tight or sound kind of shrill.
Yeah, like trying to yell an E sound way up high.
Right. So you need to make subtle adjustments. That high E might need to open just slightly towards an I sound, like in bit. Or even an ah sound might need to round a bit toward or ah.
Interesting. So it's about keeping the sound feeling open and resonant, even up high.
Exactly. It helps you navigate those register transitions, the passagios, much more smoothly and keep a consistent tone quality. It's about how the vowel shape interacts with the resonances in your throat and mouth at different frequencies.
Okay, modifying vowels. Got it. What about specifically developing the higher notes head voice or falsetto?
The focus there should be on lightness and flexibility. Not pushing your chest voice, that heavier, lower sound too high. That's a recipe for strain.
So find a lighter gear.
Yes. Exercises like those sirens on lip trills are great again. Also, scales on sounds like ing, like in sing or chi vi wi a day. These tend to encourage that lighter mechanism and help you feel resonance higher up in your head or behind your nose, the mask area.
And thinking about lifting the soft palate, I've heard that cue.
Yes, that gentle lift, like the beginning of a yawn, can create more space back there, which helps with upper register resonance.
Okay. And what about the other end? Can we expand downwards too?
You can, yes, although often the potential for expansion downwards is a bit more limited than upwards for most people, but you can work on it. Descending scales and arpeggios are good here. Singing down on relaxed open vowels like ooh, ah, or just humming gently down low. The focus is on clarity and feeling that resonance in your chest, but without pressing or forcing the sound down.
So accessing it cleanly, not pushing.
Exactly. And then there are those tricky spots in between the passagios, the bridges or breaks between registers. They often feel like the weakest link.
Definitely. How do we smooth those out?
Well, first, accept that they're normal. Everyone has them. The goal is to blend them, make the transition less noticeable. Again, sirens, trills, scales, using connecting sounds. They're your best friends here.
Because they encourage that smooth connection.
Yes. Focus on keeping the breath flow really consistent as you sing through those transition notes. Don't hold back or push suddenly. Octave slides or gentle octave jumps can also help train the voice to navigate that shift more cleanly.
So it's about blending, consistent breath, and making the shift less of a big deal vocally.
You got it. Now, all this talk about hitting the right notes, high or low or in between, brings us squarely to another vital piece of the puzzle. Ear training.
Ah, yes. Being able to actually hear the pitch you're aiming for seems pretty crucial.
It's absolutely indispensable. You can have the best technique in the world, but if your ear isn't guiding you accurately, your pitch will be off. Ear training is the foundation for good intonation, learning music faster, singing harmonies, everything.
So what does ear training involve practically?
Fundamentally, it's about learning to recognize and differentiate musical intervals, the distance between two notes.
Like telling the difference between a jump of, say, a third versus a fifth just by hearing it.
Exactly. And being able to sing those intervals accurately on demand. There are specific drills you can do.
Such as?
Well, simple pitch matching is huge. Listen to a note on a piano or an app, really hear it in your head, then sing it back. Use a tuner to check yourself. Get that immediate feedback.
Okay, matching single notes.
Pitch slides, too, like sirens, but aiming for specific target notes. And remember vowel modification. Paying attention to how vowels affect your pitch is a form of ear training, too. Sometimes a brighter vowel helps if you tend to sing flat, a rounder one if you go sharp.
That's fascinating, the mouth shape influencing pitch perception and production.
It's all connected.
Yep.
Even just consciously trying to match the pitch variations in your own speaking voice can help. Or doing staccato exercises, short, detached notes, forces you to be really precise with the onset of each pitch.
And things like solfege.
Do you?
I?
Yes. Solfege, especially movable do and related methods like Codelli are incredibly powerful tools. They give you a framework for understanding how notes relate to each other within a key, helping you internalize those sounds and relationships. It really refines your brain's ability to process pitch.
So it makes singing more intuitive over time.
Definitely. And listen, if you've ever worried about being tone deaf,
Yeah, a lot of people worry about that.
cruamusia, the clinical condition, is actually extremely rare, like really rare. For almost everyone, difficulty matching pitch comes down to a lack of ear training or underdeveloped vocal technique, or both. It's a skill you can build.
That is so encouraging. It's not necessarily a fixed thing. It's trainable.
Absolutely trainable. Which brings us back to taking care of the instrument itself.
Yeah.
We have to talk about vocal health.
Right. This feels like the absolute bedrock. You can practice all the exercises you want, but if your voice isn't healthy, you're not going to make safe progress, are you?
Not a chance. Safe range expansion depends on prioritizing vocal health. It's
Yeah.
non-negotiable. And that means the basics. Hydration, hydration, hydration.
Drink lots of water. Got it.
Yep. Avoiding things that dry out or irritate the vocal folds, too much caffeine or alcohol. Smoking is a big no-no. Managing dry air environments, maybe with a humidifier.
And rest, right?
Crucial. Giving your voice downtime. Interestingly, if your voice feels really tired or strained, sometimes a full day of complete silence is incredibly restorative.
Complete silence? Not even whispering.
Actually, whispering can often be worse than gentle talking. It creates a different kind of strain. So yeah, if you need serious rest, quiet is better than whispering.
Wow. Okay, good to know. No whispering for vocal rest.
Also, common sense stuff. Don't try to sing or yell when you're sick or your voice feels tired. Be mindful of volume generally, and know when you might need to see a professional.
Like who?
Well, if you have persistent hoarseness, pain, loss of range, that sort of thing, you might consult a laryngologist that's an ENT doctor who specializes in the voice,
Wow.
or a speech-language pathologist who works with voice disorders. And of course, a good singing teacher or vocal coach is part of that team too.
Good to know there's a whole support system out there if needed.
Definitely. Okay, so we have the techniques, we know about health, but how we practice makes a huge difference too, right, for actually getting results.
Yeah, just doing exercises randomly probably isn't the most effective way.
Right.
What does a good practice strategy look like for range expansion?
Structure and consistency are your friends. A typical good session might look like: start with some gentle body alignment checks, maybe some stretching.
Getting the posture right.
Exactly. Then a proper vocal warm-up. Then move into your focused technical work, those sirens, trills, scales, working on specific passages. And then, importantly, apply those techniques to actual music, to songs.
So technique then application.
Right. And remember, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Shorter, really focused sessions where you're paying close attention are way better than singing for hours mindlessly.
Better to do 20 minutes focus than an hour zoned out.
Totally. And don't underestimate silent practice. Just mentally running through the exercises, feeling the sensations, reinforcing those neural pathways without making a sound, it actually works.
Silent practice. Interesting.
Recording yourself is also huge. It's hard to hear yourself accurately while you're singing. Listening back gives you objective feedback.
Okay, I need to do that more often.
And the core principle for expansion is progressive challenge. Gently push the boundaries work just outside your comfort zone, maybe adding that one extra note, but only if you can maintain good technique. If it gets strained or tense, back off.
Comfort zone +1, maybe.
That's a great way to put it. And interestingly, there's some evidence that practicing around the same time each day can be helpful. Your voice has its own kind of biological clock, its circadian rhythm.
Huh. So consistency and timing might actually help too, like training any muscle.
Exactly. Our voices respond well to routine, which brings us back full circle almost to avoiding strain. We keep saying it, but it's critical.
Can't emphasize it enough.
Remember that idea of gently stretching, not forcing? And related to that is the concept of paring down the sound as you go higher.
Paring down, like making it smaller.
Thinner, maybe. Less heavy. You can't usually carry the same full, booming chest voice quality all the way up. You need to allow the sound to transition, to become maybe lighter, more focused, less weighty, to access those higher notes efficiently and without strain.
So don't try to shout the high notes with your low note voice.
Exactly. Let the coordination shift. And above all, listen to your body. Pain is a stop sign. Excessive tension, scratchiness, fatigue, those are signals to stop, rest, reassess. Don't push through pain.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Pushing too hard just leads to injury and setbacks.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay. So, as we wrap up this deep dive on safely expanding vocal range, what are the absolute key things you want people to take away?
Right. I'd say first, build that solid foundation. Posture, diaphragmatic breath support, releasing unnecessary tension. That's non-negotiable.
The fundamentals.
Second, use targeted exercises, sirens, trills, scales, vowel work. But practice them gradually, consistently, and always gently. Incremental progress is the name of the game.
Low and steady.
Third, make vocal health your top priority. Hydration, rest, avoiding irritants, knowing when to get help. Your voice needs care.
Treat it like the precious instrument it is.
Exactly. And fourth, don't neglect your ears. Active ear training is essential for singing accurately and musically as your range grows.
It really is a whole package deal, isn't it? Body, breath, technique, health, listening.
It truly is. Expanding your range is an amazing journey, but it absolutely requires patience, mindful effort, and a real commitment to healthy singing. It's not a quick fix. It's about really understanding and working with your unique voice.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. So now that you, listening, have these insights into safe vocal range expansion, what new musical possibilities might open up for you at the edges of your expanding vocal horizons?
Or maybe just consider how this deeper understanding of your own instrument, your voice, can unlock even more expressive potential in music you already love.
It's all part of that fascinating ongoing journey of vocal discovery.